Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's AJ. I'm going to be walking you through how to do the installation of a WordPress website, a custom WordPress website, and how to then install a theme from ThemeForest or wherever you get it from, and pretty much get it from zero to presentable in a very short amount of time. So just stick around. I'm going to be making some notes right here by the side, and we're going to go through this step by step. It's going to be pretty easy. I know doing a website can, sometimes be daunting, and you don't really know where to start. But if you follow these steps, you'll be able to get there. You'll be able to, soon charge people for money, do whatever, and get your website, your WordPress websites going. So what we're gonna do is first download WordPress. So WordPress.org. That's where you're gonna get WordPress. So we're downloading the zip file. I've got it right here in a folder. So pretty much when you go in it, these are all the files that are a WordPress installation file. So that's what it is, and that's what we're going to be using. So doing this video, I assume you've already pointed your domain to the server, and whether it's cPanel or whether it's a Linux-based hosting server, Windows hosting server, the process is going to be the same. It might be a slight variation based on how you create these things, but pretty much it's going to be the same. So with a lot of servers, you have the one-click installation for WordPress, but that's not the same for everybody. So I'm showing you the way to do it from scratch. That's going to be the same as far as what you need to do. So first step, what we're going to need to do is we're going to get in here and we're going to create a database. So WordPress, the reason people like WordPress websites is they're database driven. So it's driven by a database, and that's what you use. So we're going to go with this is a website we're doing. A client of mine went Cham, so let's do it. Wilt database. I'm just going to list out what I'm going to do here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. So I created the database. Now what I'm going to do is create the username and everything like that. So Wilt user, and just you can have a password generated. You can use a password. Either way works. But make sure you make a note of that, because we're going to be coming back to this information later. So we'll create the user. And it's been successfully created, so that's great. And now what we're doing is adding step 4 over here, adding the user to the database you just created with full privileges. So how we do that is select our user that we created, select our database we created, and click add. Next page is where you're going to select the privilege level. Select all privileges, make changes, and you're set for there. So now what we're going to do is go back to the home. Okay, so now we're going to go into the file manager, and as you can see in our public HTML, this is the files that people are going to go to the site for. So just to give you a quick example so you can better understand this, I'm going to use the logo that we're going to use for this site just to show you something about file path. So I've uploaded the file here. This is the root, what's called the root directory. So if I were to go to wiltcham.com/wiltcham logo, since I just uploaded that there, that's going to be here. So your website is pretty much a folder. This is the folder on a server. So that's the simplest way to explain it. It's a folder on a server, and when you type in the path to that file in the folder, it'll come up. So that's a website in general. So what we're going to do is upload this zip file we downloaded from WordPress, and then we're going to extract it. So first we'll be uploading it. Choose file, wordpress.zip. As you can see down here, it lets you know it's starting the upload. It's going to go pretty fast. 71% complete, 2 seconds left. It's completed. So now just close this pop-up window. And if we refresh this, we'll see all of the, we'll see the WordPress zip file. Once that's in here, we're going to click on it and click extract. So it's going to say, where do you want to extract? This is where it's already at, so we don't need to change anything. We're going to click extract. And it shows you all of the files and folders, etc. that have been extracted. Click close. Now if we refresh this, we have, looks like it did it in a WordPress folder. We don't want that, so I'm going to select all these files and move them to the root directory. So move them right here. Once that's done, we're going to come in here to back into the public folder. And as you can see, we can see all the files. Now what we're going to do is hook up the WordPress to the database. So to do that, what you do is, let's see, you're going to edit the config file. Now WordPress, they give you this config sample.php. What you do is rename that to config.php. And then you're going to select it, you're going to edit it, and pretty much, I know it seems very complicated, but it's really not. So what you're going to do in here is just this information is what we had just created, the MySQL database. So we're going to enter that information here. So database name, WiltDB is what we used. Database username, Wilt USR. Password. Okay. Don't look at my password. And the local host, keep that the same. And now we're going to go ahead and click save. And close. So now we've saved and closed this. Let me just make a note of that. Let me make sure I get this exact information for you guys because I want it to be as simple as possible in the instructions. So replace. Okay, so what I just typed out is what we just did. So, replace that information, save it, and close it. Now, we're pretty much set right here for now. If you go to the website, and now we can go to the live site, it's going to pull up admin install. So this is very simple. This is just doing the things necessary to set the WordPress up properly. So okay, so what you're gonna do is give your site a title, create a username, and create a password. You're gonna have to enter it twice and make sure it's decent password. It says very weak, but that's actually it's an alright password. And then that's pretty much it. You want to enter in an email address, probably something at your domain that you're going to use. So something like that, and then you're gonna click install. It's gonna say awesome. Go ahead and log in. And we're logged in. Now that we're logged in, as you can see, we've gotten WordPress installed. It's a brand new, completely manual installation. And if we go to the actual website, we'll see, hey, WordPress has been installed. That's great. So now what we're going to do is install the theme that we grabbed. So if we look over here, depending on who you use, there's a lot of different providers out there on the internet of which website to use, which theme to use, etc. We like to go with, a lot of different options. ThemeForest is one of the bigger options. They're great. So, pretty much the theme that we're using today is the theme that I got here. And let me go ahead and show you that theme. Oops. So this is the theme that we're going to be recreating here today. So this is the type of site we're going to end up with. Pretty great. We're going to tweak it a little bit. It's not going to be exactly like this. It's going to be based on what our client wanted, but it's definitely going to look good. So that's what we're going for. So download your theme or whatever you're going to be using. WordPress has a lot of themes built into it. So however you choose to go about that. But right now what we're going to do is install the theme. So go ahead and click on wordpress.com/appearance/themes. Click add new. Upload theme. So, it's easy URL just to get there. And now what we're going to do is select the file. So I have my file here. We have the theme. We're going to select it, and we're going to open that theme. We're going to install it. So now that the theme has been installed, we are going to click Activate. And our theme is now activated. A lot of times it'll ask you, if you want to install the plugins that are associated with theme. Always do so. Alright, now it's going to, install the theme plugins that are associated. And I'm just going to activate them all. Alright, once that's completed, we're going to go into the theme options area and see what we can control from over there. So um, go to appearance and then click on theme options. So this is where it's a little bit different. Each WordPress theme is different. They all have different, theme dashboards and things like that. So it's just going to depend on what theme you're working with. But to give you an example of what our site looks like now, this is what we have. So not that far off from the, what we're going to be looking for. So that's, pretty much that. So to get started now, what we're going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is add the logo. So go in here, go to usually general settings or header settings. Remove that. and use the photo that I've created for this specific example. Okay, so I uploaded the logo. If we refresh, now we have our logo here. A lot of sites, will resize a larger image. They'll, take a large logo and fit it in the space. But a lot of times also that's not the case, and you're gonna have to, create a logo that's, set up to fit within the space. So, what I did is I just went ahead and, copied this image, came into Photoshop, pasted it, and created a logo that was in the same dimensions. That way I knew I'd have something that fits with the, dimensions of this website. So definitely gonna have to do that. I'd say the next step to do is we're going to head on over to the settings area. And I really don't like it when sites say just another WordPress website. So we're gonna change that. This is an artist, so what we're going to go with, for now at least, is official website. Even though this is their official site. We're going to save those settings. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to reading. Now, I believe I've skipped a step here, so we'll jump back to it. But pretty much what we're going to do is create a page, and then we're going to set that as the home page. So, go ahead and do that. Alright, so we skip this step. We're going to come back here, like I said, go to either new page or pages, add new. So, go ahead and create a new page right now. So this is going to be our home page. So to just getting started simply, we're going to type home, and we'll come back to that, and just type home and click publish. Now what we're going to do is, step 19, we're going to go to settings and reading, and we're going to say, hey, we want our home page to be a static page, and we want it to be that page that says home. We're going to save those changes. Now when we go to the website and refresh it, we'll have not blog posts automatically, but we'll have a nice home page. So that's the first step. We're already making some progress. So sweet. So sometimes, the logo could appear in different areas. In this theme, it was right here in the theme options area under header. Now, you're going to see it in different places. Sometimes it's going to be in the customize area, and you're going to have a drop down that says, header here, or whatever it may be. So in the different themes, there's slight variation on what exactly to do and what they exactly look like. So just wanted to clear that up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the pages that we need for the website. So for this specific website, I know it's an artist and I kind of know what he's going to want. So let's see. Okay, but before that, what we're going to do is we're going to add the pages. We actually have to create them first. So pages, add new. I know who's going to want an about page. I know we're going to need a media page for videos and photos, etc. I know we're going to need a music page, and I know we're going to have a news page for the blog, and I know we're also going to have a contact page. This is going to be pretty much how it is for any 5-page website you do for somebody. The standard 5-page website is, it's service-based or, whatever it may be. 5 pages is usually enough to get the point across. Your home page, an about page, and then, 2 other pages, depending on what it may be. It could vary with musicians and a lot of people. It's, music and media. And then you also, the last thing you definitely want is a contact page so people can get a hold of you. So I've created those pages. That's step 20. Now what I'm going to do is set them to the menu. So that's going to appear right here where it says define your site's main menu. So let's see. We're going to go over here. We're going to go to appearance, menus. Name the menu. And now we're going to add the pages that we created here to the menu. So right here under pages where you can do that. Sometimes, you have a theme that has something different, or, you need to do links to other pages, or you want to have a link to a specific category of posts, or if, you have, a point of sale system where you're selling products, you could have links to categories of products and things like that. So those are the different things you can add over here. And if you ever don't see anything you're looking for, if you click on screen options, usually when you install additional plugins and have more capability, those options will be up here, like a portfolio, or for example, if I wanted to have posts, I'll just check that, and now I can just add posts from the posts that I've created in the website. So right now we're just doing pages, so all the pages are in here, and what we're going to do is check the checkbox that says main menu. So what this is when you're doing a website, sometimes there's a lot of different menus, a lot of different areas for menus and different menus specifically. So say this is the main page, and we're going to have that there. That's that menu. So we're saving it as the main menu. You go to the website and refresh it. That's the main menu. Here it is right here. We can go to each page from the menu. So it's pretty great. The second menu that it's talking about is this menu at the very top. So for this person, I don't have the exact links right now, but what I'm going to do is add social media for the next menu. So we'll go ahead and create the menu. This is where we're placing it. And like I said, we're going to go links, and let's see if we have some of the information here. So we have, Instagram. So let's start with that. And on the different themes, you're going to have other areas that you are going to be placing the social media so they come up as icons. And I'll show you that where we're doing that in this theme specifically as well. But, like I said, for this person, they don't have much in the menu, but I know kind of what people want in the menu and additional things people are going to want. So I'll just add that, and I don't know where his other stuff is, but we'll add that in here and we find it. So for right now, we'll just do some placeholders. Until we find that information. And it's always good to just keep things moving, because you don't want to have to wait, you don't want to have to stop, and you want to keep going, because the more you stop, the longer it takes, less likely you're gonna accomplish what you want to accomplish. So I'm just gonna add those in here. I'll come back to them when I can, and I'll make sure I fix those. So but for right now, as you can see, if we refresh this page, now we have these options in here. And this menu, just to show you a little bit, it also works with drop downs. So this person doesn't have many pages, but if we wanted to, drop down menus are possible, and you just kind of drop them in staggered. And now if we come in here, we've got an additional menu. So that's how you would do that. I'm going to get rid of that now. And when you're doing websites, it's always good to do all of the outside stuff before doing the main content. So right now, I've got all this stuff looking good. I'm going to add the social media icons over here, just like the demo. And once I do that, I'm going to work on the footer. Once I'm done with the footer, I'm going to do the content of the site. So let's see. So appearance, theme options. Under theme options, let's see. Nothing stands out, but you can always cycle through these. And we're gonna go to header. It's gonna ask you some questions. You can check boxes to get a different result. Let's see. So one of these here is gonna have the options that we need. So here it is. Took a little bit to find, but you'll see under here it said you want the top strip social profiles. Yes, we do. So I still don't have this information for this person, but to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, I'm just going to add these in here. Save the changes. And now we have social media here, which is great because, you know, no matter what page someone goes to, this information is still here on the top. So now we've got that done. What we're going to be doing is working on the footer now. So first things first with the footer is we want to get rid of this theme credit situation. What we're going to do with that is go right over here. Sometimes it's going to be in the theme options area. Some developers make it a little bit more difficult, and you're going to have to get into the actual editor and then get into the footer.php file and you know, look for the bit of code that has this in there and replace it. So lucky for us, you know, this theme was very good about the way they put it together, and it's right here in settings and footer text. So we want to remove this. And you know, whatever company you're working for, you can put them here. You can put a link to it. I'm not going to put a link right now, but I'll just put my name and click Save Changes. Okay, now that we've got that done, what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to work on the footer. So I don't think any of these areas have to do too much with the footer. So we're going to do this. We can get started on this right here in the widgets section. And it's a little bit rare, but you know, sometimes to edit the footer area, you would go into customize as well. But for now, we're going to do it right here. So as you can see, these areas are listed, you know, footer 1, footer 2, footer 3. So if we take a look at the demo, we've got, this is probably footer 1, this is probably footer 2, this is probably footer 3. So what we're going to do is, you know, start to put these together. So a lot of times with the themes you have, there's specific base footer or base widgets that you have access to, but sometimes the themes will give you specific special ones that are designed to work with the theme. Like I believe these ones would be that. These all these just based on the title, TI and then a title. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be what that is. So what we're going to do is we're going to move some of them over, see what they look like, and kind of move that around to get what we want for the footer. So to see what we're working with, because I'm not sure what these look like, we're just going to drag one of each of them to the areas. So this is probably, this featured post is probably this one right here. So, okay, all three of these are probably the same one. This is a list. So we'll just do the first one as a slider. We'll save those changes. We'll do another one over here. We'll save it as a list. And we'll do this last one over here as a classic list, just so we can see the different options of what it's looking like. And while we're doing that, I'll add some demo posts. I'm going to check this checkbox that says featured, so that's going to make sure it's in that area. Sometimes these widgets go based off of category, so it'll be a category title featured. So we save that. I'm going to set a featured image in here. And we'll just make the featured image we'll make it an image of Will Chamberlain. You know, to kind of keep this consistent. So we got our image. We're going to grab it from over here from my downloads folder, and we're going to drop it here onto the WordPress installation. We're going to publish this post, and we're going to make one more real quick. So we're going to come down and we're going to make it featured, and I'm going to grab a different image just so we have some variation. Now, when you install WordPress, it always installs a post that says "Hello World." What I'm just going to do real quick is I'm going to make that featured as well. And we're going to put one more picture of Will Chamberlain in here. And we're going to update that. Now, if we take a look at the website and refresh it, we'll see that on the footer now we have, you know, the slider with the featured posts, and it has the title as well. Featured posts, and I believe that is the list view. Let's take a look at our widgets. The second one's going to be the list, and the third one is the classic post list. So this theme specifically is heavily based on posts and posting in specific categories and things like that. So as you can see, it'll have recent posts in this category. It'll have this, and then you can also stack these. You don't need to have one footer per section. So for this one, we're going to have the about the site information below that. So this one's asking me for the logo URL. I'm just going to pop into the site, right click, copy the image URL, jump back over here, paste that. Short story about the site. Let's see if we can grab some information from our friend over here. And this also has the social media icons. So we'll add those a little bit. So I think you're kind of seeing how this could be important, where it's the one source area for you to control all of the information you have about your idea and everything like that. So here we go. For this specific person, having a different color logo on the footer would be ideal. So making this white would kind of make this look better. Not everybody has Photoshop, so I don't know if we can expect that from you, but I'm just gonna make that change real quick because why not? It's very simple. So in this case, to do what I'm going to do to get a URL of something new, I'm going to go to Media and add new. I'm going to take that logo that I just edited, drag it in here. Once it's uploaded, it's going to say, uploaded. You can click Edit to view the file, and right here is the hard URL to the file. So I copied that. Now I'm going to come in here, paste that here, save this, and now if we take a look at the website, a lot better. So we've got that. We told the system to only display 3 posts, and we've only made 3. If there was more, it would display more. Or if we put even another widget under here, there would be another widget. So that's why, as you can see on the demo, they have a video widget. They have some recent posts. So you can do a lot of different things with the widget. And what this does is it brings the site together. Every page you go to is going to have different options, whatever it may be. But what makes a WordPress site great is that the header, the footer are going to remain the same. You don't have to code that each time, and so that's where people can kind of get more information. This right here is the sidebar. A lot of websites will have a full width page or a page with content in the middle and then sidebar on the right or the left. So this is the sidebar. This theme you can do reviews, you can latest posts, all this information. So that would be how this is. I'm gonna add some things to the sidebar. Oh, we already have some things. So these are in the sidebar. I'm just gonna change that a little bit. And now, if you go to a page that has a sidebar, the sidebar would show up here. Just make these notes. So now what we can do, we've got the header, we've got the footer. The base part of the site is done. Now it's just the main content. So for this one, we have the home page. we're going to be putting some content in here, and then as well as these pages subsequently. So to do that, we're just going to jump in here to the home page. And a lot of different themes have different ways to control the content, different ways for pages to be different. A lot of that you'll find right here in the template area. So for this theme, for example, if we made the template a sitemap template, now when you go to this page, it's going to display a sitemap and information listed out about the site. Let's see. So yeah, here we go. Sitemap, and it's giving us a sitemap. So that's that. We're going to go with Page Composer. So first things first, what we're going to add is I think to make it as much like the theme as possible, we're going to add a slider. So we have a slider. Actually, we're not going to add a slider. We're going to add, let's give it a try. Slider, we're going to make it full width, and it's going to be placed right underneath the menu. So let's update this and check it out. Okay, so the sliders here, it's saying sorry there are no posts in the slider though. So, progress, and that's something we can definitely check. So let's take a look. So with different installations, sometimes in here it's going to ask you what category you want of post to be in the slider. There's a lot of different ways to do things. With this theme, I believe you set that information on the actual post. So let's go take a look over there. Okay, so here in this post, as you can see right over here, it says, add this to the homepage slider. Let's check yes. And we'll click update. And we'll add it for another one as well. Update, and now when we take a look at the website, we should see some posts coming up here in the slider now. Awesome. So as you can see, it's taking this image, it's stretching it the full width of the page, and the information it's displaying here in the front, first of all, it makes it dark so you can see that text. The information it's displaying in the front is who the author of this post was, because we can have multiple authors. What category it's categorized in. So right now the actual category is uncategorized. I'll change that to make it less confusing. And the post date and the post title. And when you click read more, it's going to take you to that post. And this is where the content would be. We'd haven't written anything. So that's pretty much that. So let's go ahead and change that information to where we can it's a little bit less confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here into posts and categories. And this is the category we have all three posts added to it. I don't like it. So I'm going to edit this category, change it to blog. Awesome. So that's how we do the slider. In different themes sometimes with the slider, it's not going to be right there on the page. It'll actually be a plugin that you've installed over here, whether it be Revolution Slider or Layer Slider. So you'd have to come in here, come into the plugin, and edit the, because a lot of websites treat them differently. Some of them take them from the post, like this website, or some of them you create the slider yourself. So you're going to upload the background image. You're going to create the text on it and everything like that. So in this theme, it's a little bit different. It's kind of very much based on the blog. And so we got the slider like that in there very quickly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to be filling out the content of the website. So, as you can see, it's pretty filled out. All this stuff is kind of there. Now we just kind of got to custom tailor it to your client, whoever that may be. So we'll start with the about page. So jumping right in here. Before I do this, what I want to do is upload a plugin. This plugin is very, very important. It's called Visual Composer, and with it, anybody who knows how or who's trying to make a website is going to be able to do that. So it's called Visual Composer. It's awesome. We use it a lot in everything, and it really makes life simpler for everybody. So definitely, we're going to have like a little directory and a little file, a little present for you guys, where we're going to give you all of the plugins that we use and that we, definitely stand by. Visual Composer is definitely one of them. So we're going to give that to you, and so you guys can be successful online. We'll just make a note of that. Once that's downloaded, so yeah, let's stop recording. So once that's added, what you're going to do is click Activate Plugin. Now that the plugin's been activated, we can go ahead and come in here to the About page. We're going to refresh it. Once that's refreshed, now you can see we have these boxes right here. So I'm going to click on Backend Editor. Pretty much with Visual Composer, you can, really easy to build elements. So I'm going to add a row. In that row, I'm going to add a text block. In that text block, this person doesn't have any his bio yet, so I'm just going to use this dummy text. And the great thing about this is, you can do all sorts of things like add an image to the side. It's really easy to just, organize the data in a great way. Very visually pleasing, and, it's what everybody wants to see, the data, be able to tell a story. So that's kind of what this gives us. And, yeah, so I'm actually going to have to contact this person to get some more bio information. But we're not going to let that stop us today. So I'm using the dummy text, using an image I've already set to use for him. And pretty much, that's just one way to add it. I'm actually going to add it in the paragraph so it wraps around. I think I like that style a little bit better. So what you're going to do is just put your mouse at the top left-hand corner, and you're going to click Add Media. As you can see, I had already uploaded that image, so I'm just going to select it, set the alignment to right, and link it to nothing. And I'm going to make it full size. Now what this does, align right, is as you can see, it aligns to the right of the text, letting it wrap around it. A lot of you guys are familiar with this from Word files or anything like that. So I'm going to update it, and I'm going to click View Page, and we should have a decent About page. So now we've got this. You know, I'm just going to make this text a little bit longer so it wraps around the image and gives the effect that we're, looking for. You know, in WordPress you can actually do a lot of cool things. Like I'm just going to resize this image too. So you hold Shift, resize that down, copy this text, and paste it a few times. And, you can do a lot more with the styling of the text and everything like that. Maybe add some call to action buttons here on the bottom for, your sales pitch or whatever it may be. So that's the about page. Let's go move along to the contact page. Just make a note of that. So now for the contact page, same type of thing. We're going to get into the page. Now to create the contact form, a lot of the different themes have different forms that go with what they're trying to do. We like to use Gravity forms. So, we paid for the major licensing to do so. And that's what I'm going to add in here now. So, like I said, we're going to put all these in an area for you to download them all. So you can, just have access to all of these. Because these are really the key elements that are going to make a website what it is. So just grab this. And all this stuff can be achieved through, FTP as well. If you know the file structure, you're just going to want to put them in your plugins folder. But honestly, that's even a little bit more advanced. And not many people even have FTP access like that. So we're showing you the way to do it with just site access, after you get it installed, that is. So now what we're going to do, we've got Gravity Forms activated. So now, as you can see, we'll have a little new custom post area over here that says Forms. We're going to click New Form. Contact form is what we'll title it. We'll just create a basic contact form. So name, first name, last name. We're going to leave it. Actually, I like to do name twice, and I'll show you why. Phone number, email, and message. Some space for them to leave a message. So when this outputs the form, it puts the first and last name underneath it, and I don't really like how that looks. So I'm gonna make my own first and last name. So see, when I set it to simple, changes this to just one line. Last. And just to make things a little bit more understandable, I'm gonna add number to phone, email, address. And this one's gonna be message. So if you do the form as it is like this, it's just going to display all of these in a different row, going down the page. I like it to be a little bit more compact, and with Gravity Forms, you can do that. So let me just show you real quick. And this is just a little bit advanced. If you want to take it there with this type of stuff, you definitely can. It's, I'd say it's worth it. So, Gravity Forms Ready classes. So, you pretty much go into the advanced area under CSS class name. You can use this. And you can make your own CSS classes too and use those as well, but just to show you how I'm going to do it with these. So, for example, blah, blah, blah. You can read up on that. Just Google Gravity Forms, CSS, Ready classes, whatever. I'm going to show you just how to do it real quick. So, I have these. I'd rather these be side to side rather than above each other. So I'm going to go to Advanced, CSS, GF, left half. So that's gravity forms aligned to the left, and it's half. So it's going to take up 50% of it, whereas if it's a third, it's going to take up, a third of it. So GF left half. Let me just make sure I have it. GF right third. GF left half. Okay, so I was right. Now in this one, what are we going to go with? GF right half. That's correct. GF right half. And we're going to do the same thing with phone number and email address, so we can keep these lined up as well. GF left half. And email address. GF right half. So, people don't really, take it there. I'm going to also make all these required. With gravity forms, it's one thing to just put a form. A lot of people are happy about that. But definitely, doing the little things you need to do to style it, take it to that next level. So watch. I'm going to update the form. Created, so we install created form. So we created the form. Now we're going to go to the contact page. I'm going to jump in Visual Composer. And then you always start with a row. After that row, as you can see, they make it let me just update this real quick. Make sure they're going to have the gravity forms. So add gravity form. Here we go. Gravity form. Which one do we want? The one we created. If you don't want to display that information, we're going to display gravity form. And it's not really necessary for this person, but just to show you guys what a good contact form page is, I'm going to not make it full width. I'm going to give myself a little bit of an area over here to put a map. See how easy gravity forms is? It's beautiful. So embedded app, map iframe. Go to Google Maps, find a location, click share, and copy the embedded thing. So let's maps.google.com. Oh, hey, our address, exactly where I am. Cool. And share embed map, copy this, paste here. Map height, we're gonna go 500 pixels, no extra classes. So, you can also add a header and some contact information there as well. And I'm gonna update the page, and now we're gonna take a look at it. Oh, okay, we're running a little bit out of space. That's why it's doing this. But I'll be able to fix that really quick, and I'll show you how to do that. First, before I do that, as you can see, it's got some ugly information in here. That's because we skipped setting the permalinks. I'm going to set those right now for us. So, permalinks, and I wrote this in here where it should be at around step... Permalinks. Here we go, permalinks. So instead of default, ugly. Bless me. Oh, thanks guys. Alright, instead of default, we're going to go with post name. That gives you the actual name of the file you're using. So we're going to save that. Very crucial for SEO, all that stuff. So now let's refresh this page. Now it's /contact. Beautiful. Now to fix this form, let's go back here into the form. And we're just going to set these fields, go to advanced again, for small, not wide, not super wide, because we're trying to have a map. So same with these two. And even in Visual Composer, you can even make that area smaller. They have all the different options. So it's really beautiful. So let's refresh it. Oh my gosh. I may have typed this in wrong. That's probably what it is. So let's take a look. I'm actually going to set this back to 88. GF left half. That's correct. GF right half. That should be correct. Let's double check the ready classes. GF left half, GF right half. You know, let's take this map out really fast and see what it looks like without it. You know, I'm actually just going to duplicate this, delete the map, delete the forms right there, set this for wide, set this for wide, update, see what that looks like. You know, a lot of times with WordPress, it's just troubleshooting too. You know, troubleshooting to see why is what happening. So here we have a good instance of that. So let's see, GF left hand. Man, I can't figure this out. It looks exactly right. Alright, for now, you know, I don't know what's up with that, but I want to continue this tutorial. So I'm just going to remove those classes. Whatever, it happens. I'm sure if you just did it, it probably worked for you. So, you know, we can spend our time trying to just figure that out, but it really doesn't matter because that page doesn't. It's not a make or break over here, okay? It's just me trying to, you know, try too hard. So now that we've got that there, I'm going to move the map back. So let's get back into the page. Let's set it like this. So these, you know, like I said, the different options you have. Get the forms back in there. Delete that one. Update. And a lot of business style websites, I'll have a call to action at the bottom of every page. So that's, you know, something that you definitely, you know, want to have. So update. Now we have our contact page with, you know, contact information over here, the map over here. And, you know, he didn't provide us with this, but, you know, just to take it to the next level, I'm actually going to make another area and just do a quick, like, hey, you know, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a message. Yes, I'm a designer, and my spelling is atrocious. That's not an excuse, and I'm trying to get better, but as of right now, it's true. So as you can see over here, lots of misspelling. Sorry about that. But now we have a beautiful contact page. So awesome. Let's keep moving. Media, okay? Media. So there's a lot of different ways to do a media page. You know, lots of different ways. Let's just jump in Visual Composer real quick. Alright, let's see. Install Gravity Forms at 4. That form the contact page. 28. Add photos to the media page with the Visual Composer gallery. Okay, so add something. We're going to come in here. We're going to go with an image gallery. We want to go with image grid. Add photos. Got a bunch of photos of our friend here. So I'll start off with those 3, but I do have more. Desktop, I believe? Yes. You know, and I'm going to end up using some of these in the slider as well. You know, I think he'll probably get mad if we have Wilt Chamberlain. So a lot of times, you know, using sample data is cool and all, but just don't let the customer see it, because they'll be like, what? And, you know, they'll just be upset, and you don't want that. You know, you want to give them the great experience. You want to give them the great product. So, you know, we use this at the beginning because I didn't even have any information. But, you know, now that we have what we need, we're definitely going to remove that before we show him anything. So, don't let that so slip. So, image size, example, thumbnail. 200 times 200 is what we go with. Save. So we got a nice little gallery here. And boom. Okay, there should be more photos. So, as usual, let's troubleshoot what's going on. So, as you can see, for some reason, the image gallery is not working. But as my dad used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So we're going to come in here to the text block, click Add Media. We're going to select all these photos that we've just uploaded. We're going to click Create Gallery. Now this is the basic WordPress way to do it without Visual Composer. So you'll come to understand a lot of times with things. Things conflict, things don't work together for some reason. All sorts of reasons WordPress acts crazy. But there's no need to, get all hyped up or, psyched out about it. Just, you know that's what you're dealing with. And it's okay, because there's more than one way to do things. So, as you can see, we went ahead and created it with just the basic WordPress way. Now we're going to hop back over here. And boom, we got a little gallery. So, great. Okay, and this can always be updated just by adding photos like I just showed you. So, gallery. Moving on to the music page. So, this person has, music. They want to embed it on the site. So that's what we're going to do for them. So let me just go ahead and check over here. I know he had it on his Instagram. So let's take it to the Instagram. Take it to the gram. And click to this. You know, I'd prefer a SoundCloud link, honestly, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. So what we're gonna do is, I believe they have a pop-out player here. They do, and you know, it's usually a lot easier. I'll show you even how easy it is with a normal website like SoundCloud or somebody else. Honestly, I don't know how many musicians you're gonna work with, but you know, this works well for YouTube or anything. Okay, so music, click edit page. Then what you're going to do is click on backend, add row, go ahead and select that. And we're going to add raw HTML. Actually, let's see if they give us iframe options. No, okay. HTML. Now, I know this, but you know, iframe source equals quote, blank quote, end quote, and yeah. So that's just a little frame that should house that content that we just added. Let's take a look at the page. Awesome, it did. Let's make some adjustments to that though. And you know, honestly, I'm going to show you how to do SoundCloud real quick because it's not very often you'll have to do it this way. Width equals quote 100% quote. So what that's showing it, that's, you know, just some CSS. And what it's saying is, hey, you know, take this iframe and make it the full width of the page of the container you're in. So it's going all the way over here. Unfortunately, this player only extends to here. So just, you know, to not make it look bad, I'm gonna do some adjustments. So I usually use my screenshot tool to measure things out, and I'll just put escape. So 620. We're going to make the width of this 620, and we also have to set a height for it as well. So 620 px, and then the height equals quote over 500 px. Quote space, save. And like I said, we're also going to, you know what? Let's add a sidebar to this page because we haven't done that yet. So sidebar, let's do it. Let me just make some notes here. Blah, blah, blah. 29. Add music player embed code to the music page. I'm also going to show you guys something else real quick for the media page, just because that's going to affect a lot more people, and you know, you guys will get a kick out of it. So music page, refresh. Now we have this in the correct sizing, and we also have our sidebar. That's affected by the widgets that we discussed earlier. And yeah, you know, let me show you that again real quick where that's at. Appearance, widgets. So as you can see in the pages, this is the sidebar that's going to be here. So let's drop some more content in here. Let's add a about the site up here on the top. And you know, even for this, we'll just copy this info that's over here. So I think that's the white logo. We don't necessarily want that, but I believe if we remove that one, we'll be straight. So about copy that, scroll to the top, paste, and you know, like we said, the social media links, we don't really have them together like that yet, so we're just going to add 4 of them right there. once I am in contact with my customer, I'll touch up that information and get it correct. So as you can see now, this is the sidebar, and I've just updated this information over here. And, we have links, etc., etc. I'm gonna get rid of meta because that's not really needed. And that's gonna be the music page. So I'm also going to, I'm gonna make that 30 because I'm gonna make 29. Install tube press plugin. Find user and add that with the shortcode to the media page. And what that all means is, let's just hop back over to the media page because we're trying to deliver good quality content, and that's really the name of the game. So let's go ahead and edit the page. And we're just going to put his YouTube gallery underneath these photos. So that way someone can, get more information as they see fit. So, first things first. Plugins, admin. This plugin will have in our directory for you, but it's actually a free plugin for everybody. So not even just the goodies we're going to give you guys. This is one that's out there for everybody. So, Tube Press. Yes, I want to install. We're going to activate that, definitely. And now, under settings, we have Tube Press. So we're going to go over to there. We don't want Wordpress or Video Player or Vimeo. We just want to deal with YouTube because I know that's something that they have. So since I seem to have misplaced the YouTube, I'm going to find it again real quick. And to do that, some skilled internet searching. So, blam. Paste that YouTube name. I'm also going to type in Wilt Chamberlain YouTube. And what do you know? Okay, not that actually, but let's see. Chamberlain. I know he has a 100 in his name too. Found him. So like we're saying, it's a lot of people don't have everything in the best possible place together. So, you gotta do what you need to do to find your employees' content. So, regardless of what it takes, even if it's not provided, it's up to you to go get that information. So, here we go. Not only did he not provide his Twitter or YouTube, but I just found both of them. So, I'm going to copy that, the YouTube username, paste that in here. As you can see, you can do a search. You can pull videos in by user, by YouTube playlist, by YouTube users' favorites, most viewed videos, or related to a specific video. So I'm going to save that because we're just going by, this person's YouTube user playlist. And then what we're going to do is come here into the media page, add a new text block, and in that text block we're going to use this YouTube shortcode. So tube press. And what that is going to do is it's just going to pull in all of the videos from that user. He only had one video, so we're not going to see much of a difference. But if he did have more than one videos, it would display them like this. in, you know, a grid, and every time they click one, a new one would show up on top. So it's saying no videos for this person. I find that hard to believe. To press. So let's just try that again. Save. Refresh. So it's probably doing that because he only has one video. Whatever. Now you guys know, you know. Now you guys know how to make a cool page for that. And yeah, so that's the media page. Moving right along to the news page. So this page we're gonna have as the blog. So let me just set that everyone in. So that may not permalinks. It may not make sense in the permalinks section. Add the news page as the post on the blog page. But when you see me do it right now, it will. So settings, permalinks. Okay, it's actually not in the permalinks. It's in the general settings. So general settings. It's in the reading settings. Oh my goodness. Reading. We're going to set the front page display. We already set that to home. But the posts or blog page, we're going to set that for news. And click save. So now, on the news page, it's going to show the posts. Blam, blam, blam. So that's great. That's great and all. But what we really need to do is, you know, what your client needs to do is blog. If they can't blog, they're going to need to syndicate that content. Before I syndicate the content, though, I'm going to show you guys a special plugin that we use, that we develop, that, you know, you're going to want to use on all your sites. So, number 32 in this list, add the auto thumbnail plugin. Activate it and set a thumbnail image. Now, upload plugin. And this is the plugin, Auto Post Thumbnail Pro. Yeah, that's right. So, what this does is, you know, we're going to be pulling in posts for this person, and these posts, okay, install failed. Let's see, there might be another level to that. There's not. So, what's that all about? Let's try it again. Folder already exists. I already uploaded this plugin. So let's go to the plugins page. Auto Post Thumbnail Pro. So pretty much what that does is when we pull in these posts, if they don't have a featured image, it's going to set one for them. What it can do is it'll pull, it'll say, okay, there's no images in here. We're going to use the one that's been provided for us, and it's that simple. That, or another thing they'll do is it'll say, okay, if there's the first image in this post, we're going to set that as the thumbnail. Or if there's a video, we're going to pull a still from the video and make that the thumbnail. So, you know, you'll see what I mean with that right now. So let's see, we've got this in there now. Next thing we're going to install is Alright, let's read this gibberish. Add plugin feed WordPress. Activated. Set copies to be stored on a local website and add a few website feeds. It sounds like German to some people. You know, it doesn't really make sense. But I'm just going to show you how to do it, and it's going to make a lot of sense. So, plugins. Add new. No offense to my Germans. You know, I don't understand the language, though. So if someone was saying it to me, or Mandarin Chinese, I'd be like, hey, you're speaking foreign, and I don't speak the language. So, You know, a lot of people are seeing these big tech words and they're like, hey, we don't get that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's see, feed WordPress. Here we go. Great plugin. Activate. Now you'll see over here we have syndication. Now before you go into there, you're going to click on posts and links, and you're going to say the local copy on this website. Okay, now what that is, you know, pretty much when it pulls in these, you know, posts, it's saying, do you want, when they click on it, to go to that person's website, or do you want to have a local copy here and then to stay here? And duh, you want a local copy here and you want them to stay here. So that's why you click that. Now we're going to click on syndicated sites, and we're going to add a few website feeds. I already have a couple hip-hop feeds here, ready to go, because I'm ready to go. So, blam. Paste your, you know, you just paste the website in there. For example, it's not pulling the website, so I had the actual feed URL and it didn't like that. So I'm just gonna have to go to their website, copy the actual domain, and I'm gonna let this do the thinking for me and say, here's the feed, because I tried to do it for it last time. So you look at it, you say, yeah, this looks right, that's what I need. Use this feed. And so say, okay, cool. Now we have this feed. And you know, you're gonna say, hey, I want you to go ahead and update that now. So it's gonna go check the site for new posts, and it's gonna see new posts that aren't on your site. It's gonna create them for you. So beautiful. You'll see that right now. And you'll see how it takes that featured image, takes the video still, and makes that an image for your website. Boom. So now if we go over here and refresh this, we're going to have a bunch of posts about music-related stuff that happened today. So it's like, wow, this person blogs a lot, whereas that's really not the case. So now that we have these in here, I'm going to go ahead and delete these Wilt Chamberlain posts that I added, because they don't make any sense. And I'm going to update these down here to where they have a little bit more different variety. So, you know, we have these, and what that's also is going to do is going to update these images here on my home page. You know, so we're going to have some images of the actual client. So, you know, we've got the feed down. Let's go in here. Actually, I don't think I need to do. I think we discussed that. But like I said, with different sites, different things, you know, the slider may be its own standalone thing. In this site, it happens to be the posts. So we're going to go in here to the posts, and I'm just going to make some very generic ones that fit what we're trying to do. So let's go with new website launched. Okay, that's not that great of writing, but it's cool. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and set these featured images. And, you know, this is like a cooking show to where I already have the stuff already made. So set that in the oven, and out comes the fully made product. I already have these featured images set. so I can just hop in and set them. You don't have to watch me make them in Photoshop. So cool. That's one. New website launched. I'm gonna go back to posts. Going to go to the other one. I'm gonna delete one of these. Put that in the trash can. Another new post. I'm just gonna name this one merch line coming soon. I'm just going to go ahead and plug myself as the designer of this merchandise line. It will be coming out this summer. I guess now I have some more commitments. Stay tuned and at this point, you know, what some people might do, depending on what level you're at, I would always recommend it. You know, and if you're getting the premium sites for us, we would do it. This one's pretty basic, but you know, I would add, hey, stay tuned, sign up for this email campaign, or put your email address here, and you'll be notified when my merchandise comes out, etc., etc. So I'm not gonna put that here because, you know, I don't think this person has a MailChimp account, and there's just a lot to it. But if I was going to, I would, you know, use Visual Composer and add a little form on the bottom that says keep in touch. So here I'm going to set the other image. Update. And now when we refresh the website, it's going to say everything it needs to say. Like, oh, what's up? New merchandise line coming soon. So I thought I set both of them for featured images, but maybe it's just the one. So let's go ahead and go here to new website launch. You know, it is. It is. So let's see. Make this a homepage featured slider. Refresh this. Now we have both. Yeah. And like I said, if they click on it, it's going to take them one level deeper. And here's where the post is, where you're going to have your content. They can instantly share this here and everything like that. So we have recent posts, more stuff to check out, related stuff, etc., etc. As you can see in the news section, these are covered in here as well. And the last thing we'll do is, what was it? I just saw it. Footer. We're going to adjust these to where they pull in some new information. So let's take a look at that. Footers. We're going to leave this one here because I like that it's got the big featured images. But this one, we're going to change that. So we're going to change that to latest post by category. We're going to set it as list so it appears like the other one. The category we're going to set it as is, I don't know, music. Something random. Entitle it Music News. Save that. And move to the next one. This one, you know, we'll make it look a little nice. So we'll add his video up here, as well as another feed for latest mixtapes. Like I said, every blog is different. Every website you put together is different, and this one's very post-driven. So this one's heavy on the post. Needs to be a post type stuff. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get back to the YouTube channel if possible. Here we go. We'll get the video. Copy that. going to paste that right here in the video link. I'm going to title it music video, very generic. And now when we refresh the home page, as you can see, we have still the featured posts, but, and I'll actually do a couple more there. We also have music news, and we have the video and mixtape news. So as the site's filled out, this will be more filled out. We actually can say, hey, we want to actually have 6 posts there. And as you can see, so you see where it says Wolfcham on these, pretty much those posts didn't have a featured image. They didn't have an image in the post to pull from. So it like I said, it used that default image that we set. So didn't have a featured image. We had our plugin automatically place that in there. So that's that. And for this artist, you know, anything else we would want to add to the home page, because honestly, this is kind of a bare home page. I would expect some more content here before the footer, but you know, we really don't have much to put for this person. But you definitely want more content down here. You definitely want more content down here, and you know, that's all depending on what person, what type of site, etc., etc. So what we're going to show you next is you know, some other plugins that we're going to have here that are going to help you, you know, make the most out of your website as far as search engine optimization, visibility, etc. So that's going to be coming up next.
Okay, so alright, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, you know, more content down here. It just depends on the site and who's doing with it. I'll just give you a couple quick examples. So on this site, you know, we've got more of homepage content going. On this site, you know, same type of thing, very much news oriented. So those are the type of things that, you know, you can do with this theme, or, you know, really with any site. So these are themes that we've done, and, you know, so you can kind of see what can happen with this style of site, what it can be turned into, etc. And you know, that's pretty much the basics of what you need to get started making websites for people. If, you know, you have some upcoming bills you need to pay, or if, you know, for whatever reason, go out and make the sale, $500, etc. And just know that, you know, in 2 hours you can walk through and have a site built for somebody and really have it set up and really deliver on, you know, what you said you can do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where we're going to leave you. We've got some more information and more help that we're willing to give, and if you have any questions, you know, definitely reach out to us. We're willing to help. We've got files, we've got plugins, we've got stuff that we want to give you for free, and, you know, just to help you out for, you know, working together to make the internet a better place. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, any questions, any type of things, just go ahead and reach out to us, and, you know, we're willing to help. And you know, take care.